Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Street Bullies podcast with your hosts, Derek.
Now you gotta get it, Bobby.
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Cody.
What's not to love?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode, a post-game sort of episode of the Street Bullies. My name is Derek.
Look at us being on the beat.
Right.
Look at that. Raise your hand if you watched the game, though.
We've got the beat. We've got the beat.
I had Taekwondo. Well, I didn't have Taekwondo.
John, are you taking karate lessons?
Yep. My
John Chuck Norris
5-year-old takes it. And man, it is such a joke. I used to take it when I was a kid, and I went to like a traditional Korean school. This guy used to like beat the piss out of us, and like there was nothing you could do about it. It was like, well, he's learning.
Right.
This one, it's like, hey, pay $50, you get a new belt. Right. This is like pay $50, you get a yellow belt. And the boards, you do like board breaking day.
Oh, they hold them so tight. Yeah.
I've got more up here. I could just stand up. It's insane.
Oh boy. Well, so I'm Derek. In case you didn't know that.
I'm John. Happy President's Day, everybody.
Woohoo! And we're joined by one of the Matts, Matt Casey.
Hello.
Hoagieless Mondays. Hoagieless.
John's favorite type of episodes.
Back to Taekwondo real quick. my brother-in-law, who's like 26, or 36. He's like way out of it. Like he just took up Taekwondo like a couple of years ago and like gotten good. But my other brother-in-law and I just rip him. We're like, dude, how's karate class going? Like, are you making some headway on your belts? And he's just like, shut up, it's Taekwondo. It's serious.
There's like an instructor assistant at Reagan's Taekwondo school. Is that what you call it? I don't know. And
Dojo.
He must be. He must be our age, and what I mean is like in that window. The dude looks like he works at a EB Games during the day and sleeps in his car. Like
you have to refer to him every time you speak to him as sensei. Like, yes, sensei.
It's a lot of sirs.
Oh, lame.
Yeah.
Respect.
Like, in this day and age, how is it not like sure it her, ma'am?
Oh boy. Let's get to Flyers talk here. We're getting to the part of the season right now. It's kind of, just kind of take the wins as they come.
Nobody gives up.
Pretty much. John's not going to mince words. I was trying to. But we want to touch on a couple players in regards to, where we're at, how we're doing. John's, eloquently telling his wife to shut up. I'm assuming.
Dog.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I would have expected
the wife barking this time.
Something heavy thrown at you if you told your wife to shut up. But so let's start it off as kind of a round table here. Let's start rattling off some names. Let's talk about it. John, I'm pitching it to you here. You got a name that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I do.
I'm assuming you do.
I mean, well, listen, the Flyers won today. Was it Monday? They beat Calgary 4-3. What does it stop a 4-game losing skid where we started to look pretty ugly? I mean, Seattle's game, woof.
Both those games were brutal.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, we looked a little bit better in one of the. No, stop and stop. I mean, and John Tortorella, bless his heart, is like, that's a really good Kraken team. Okay, all right. I mean,
in fairness, they're not bad.
They're not bad, but like,
I'm not going to sit here and say they're.
My Aunt Jenny's chili isn't bad, but
how is it that like expansion teams, like it used to be like expansion teams, like it was a decade before they were like anything relevant. Now it's like expansion teams.
They were even trying that remember their expansion draft? They took Carson freaking Terwensky.
How long did it take the Houston Texans to become even somewhat relevant? Like, different league, I get it, but Christ. Like, I mean, Casey's point, yeah, like Expansion teams should suck for a little bit.
Well, it's
This
the
is not
hard cap,
right.
man. It's parody. It's all about the NHL making, wanting to make parody and all that crap. But anyway,
Blow it out your ass, Batman.
I mean, the name that kind of sticks out for me is Travis Konechny, because it's like he finally got off the schneid, as they like to say, and started potting some goals. You never heard that before, Casey?
What is that?
Yeah,
Off
what?
the schneid?
Off the
Long Island
schneid?
thing. Like,
What is that?
I heard somebody else say it on a podcast today, so I took it. So
stick to your own vocabulary.
anyway,
Vocabulary.
so he finally gets off that schneid, and now he's hurt. He's got a freaking tailbone injury for getting a knee in the butt.
Poor guy.
I think the Konechny thing is, today's game, for example, like he is so clearly our best player. Like it's not even close. I watched the second and third period, and I had to watch through the Calgary feed, which was a little brutal.
A lot of abuse.
You're not getting a lot of the comments, but like I didn't notice. I mean, was Farabee even playing in that game? Like I think Farabee might be like stapled to the bench at this point.
Does Farabee play at this point?
He was
Like,
on
what
the
is
bench, but I don't remember a single shift. But like even like Hayes, like I think I saw
I don't know.
Hayes like twice, and that was it. So like I don't know. I feel like I'm dead on with you, man. Like Konechny is the only game from a forward standpoint we have in town right now.
Right. And now he's got a bruised bum.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
To the point, though, too, like it's tough because he went 13 games without a goal after being on a tear, like the beginning of the year. 8 games pointless. Like we saw him start to kind of get back into the groove when he had those 2 goals against Seattle. He had an assist tonight against Calgary. Fantastic. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't like the streakiness, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
Right.
Well, I think one of the things is like he's got to know that, yeah, there might be some potential guys like Tippett or somebody like that, like down the road, who might be able to carry it. Like he's carrying the entire offensive workload on his end. Like you look who scored tonight. Konechny had a goal. Then it was Big Stick Nick, and then Tony D's, and then Wade Allison. And it's like you got it. Like when you have Tony D and Delorier netting goals, like you got to pull out a win. So like thank God they did.
Those are some porn goals, by the way. Like all 4 of those guys could be in a porno. Preferably not together, but like
what are you thinking about?
I feel like we need to steer clear of this conversation right now.
Risto looked good. Again.
Risto did look good.
I thought Risto looked good, but I think the defenseman that I want to talk about is York.
His
from
partner.
From a positive state. Wait, were Risto and York together today, or have they been together the last couple?
I think so.
That's been my dream pairing. It's like the puppet and the mannequin. It's like Risto's a voice thrower. No, I think York. You look back at the beginning of the season, how up in arms all the fans were that he got sent down. It's like, all right, like he didn't earn it, and now he did earn it, and he's like arguably our most stable and most electric defenseman, if you want to even say that. But like he had some looks. I think he may have had an assist tonight, but like he's, in my mind, he's been the most impressive in the last probably 2 months. But I do like Risto as well. Like I think that pairing, and I go back to what we said a couple of weeks ago of who do we see as the core, and defensively, I think the 2 of them are the core right now. And would have said that about Sanheim until like today.
He's finding his groove too, though. I mean, like it's nice to see him really acclimate himself to the NHL level. He's getting up to game speed. Cam York. Yeah, sorry.
Talk about Sanheim.
Well, Sanheim being a healthy scratch today.
Right.
I'm cool with it. But anyway, getting back to York here, like I really do think, and I know we had discussed it at length at the beginning of the season when it happened, a lot of people were up in arms about it. I think the best thing that could have happened to him did, and that's sending him back down as a wake-up call to say, hey, you're good, but you need to be that much better. And he is now that much better, and he's a mainstay in the lineup at this point. I feel like it's safe to say.
Yeah.
It's anybody. I'm worried about saying that about anybody. mainstay in this lineup. But for sure, I completely agree with you. And it's like news break. Tortorella might actually know what he's doing.
Right.
Get out.
Where like his expectations for this team were quite realistic, where it was like Cam York, it makes more sense for you to go downstairs, go down to the AHL, fix your schnitt, and come back up when you're actually ready. And I think that move has paid off.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think like the concerning thing is like that York was the only guy who was in that position. Like, I'd love to be able to have a couple more NHL ready AHLers, which I just don't think we have right now. I mean, we're going to see it one way or the other in the next, 6 weeks. But like, I wish it was like, we had like, at least 2 more forwards who were like that ready, that on the bubble to come up. And I just don't think we do.
And to kind of take that a little bit further, like that can actually be in a difference maker role.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think somebody could say Elliot Denoye might be like that next guy, but we're talking bottom 6. Like, you don't really need that. Cam York is a top 4 difference maker, on his best days. Like, we don't really,
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't really have that next guy who's ready in the AHL.
No, I mean, you could arguably say maybe a Forrester, maybe, but again, not there yet. Like Ollie Leixel, they gave him the call up. Not much of an impact at the NHL level. He's been doing great in the AHL, leading the team in scoring. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was he an All-Star
in the AHL?
Yeah,
not
the NHL. No, absolutely not.
Could have been.
I may have missed our AHL All-Star roster.
Yeah. I know Forrester was one, and I think there was another one, but I can't remember. Either way.
But I feel like he missed it because he was called up, right? Was that like so?
I think York missed it because I think York was an AHL All-Star technically.
That might be it. You know what? Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'm gonna forgo this one. Thanks. Thanks.
Well, could we argue? I know you guys aren't big into the AHL, and neither am I. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know the ins and outs of the Phantoms right now. But could we argue that maybe we're close to a Bobby Brink call up?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Has he done anything?
I know he's been playing well. I know his first game back he had a goal. He's been playing. He's been putting up the points. But I don't know. Like, I'm a little iffy with that injury.
The reality is we're going to see these guys in the last, when's the trade deadline? March
3rd.
March 3rd.
Yeah.
So
Friday.
we're 2 weeks away from this. So we're going to end up seeing some of these guys in the last month of the season, whether we like it or not. And, it's unfortunate because it's like you're getting arguably garbage games in a team that is all but folded. But on the flip side, I also look at it as like, okay, Tortorella is here. This is basically like a tryout for these guys for next season, which I think is a better position to be in than we were last year, which it was like, hey, we got some lame duck coaches that like, we don't have to impress. So,
but look at Noah Cates too. I mean, look what he was able to accomplish in those garbage games.
Right.
I mean, he's the exception to the rule. I think, obviously if you look at everybody else that played that couldn't stay up, but, you might get somebody like that. And I think and I know we're going to talk about it. I mean, unless we go right into it now, but I think like it really also depends on who gets moved from this team at the trade deadline, because I'm not convinced there's going to be a lot of movement.
Absolutely. We have to. Like, I know we like want to. I think it's going to be movement. I just don't think it's going to be the return that anybody's hoping for.
So then is it worth it? Because that's the thing, and I agree with you, because I don't think that Chuck Fletcher has the ability to maximize returns on any of the people that are eligible really to be traded or are best suited to be traded. And B, honestly, I just don't trust him. Like, I mean, because he'll end up trading somebody that it's like, okay, we're going to trade this guy. It's like, well, this guy's got term left, or this guy's, actually one of our better performing players. He'll be the person that'll trade Travis Konechny for like 1 first-round pick. Like, and that's what scares me, is that I think he's mismanaging the assets and the people that we have currently. Like, I just don't think he's best suited to make the decisions for the team moving forward here.
I mean, I agree with you in terms of like prove me wrong at this point, because
Yeah.
if you look at this guy's track record, especially when it comes to like trading expiring deals or things like that, but like
because they just extend them a day before the season.
I'm a firm believer that the trade deadline for the most part is for expiring deals. And like look at what we've got to offer. It's not people aren't going to be chomping at the bit for freaking Patrick Brown,
So I mean, who are the names? It's Van Riemsdyk,
JVR.
Brown, Sealer.
Yeah.
Brown. Yeah, but
Those are
Sealer's not even
expiring
technically
deals.
a rental. He's not in because he has
That's-
one
yeah.
more year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a longer term rental.
But then you have Sealer, and then I would arguably put Tony D in there as well as guys who could be moved. I don't know if they will, but like,
Right.
can Chuck show some savviness and shed that Tony D Boombots contract? And
You're taking a
get
massive
limited
loss
return?
on it.
Anthony DeMarco, I think it is, and I might be wrong here. I think on a few weeks ago on the Stick to Hockey podcast mentioned the idea of trading for Matt Dumba, just going Dumba for D'Angelo straight up, knowing that like we could just get rid of Dumba at the end of the year. We get rid of Tony D'Angelo's contract. They get somebody that they could commit to. I would be all for that. Like,
Right.
I don't even care if we keep Matt Dumba in any way, shape, or form. But
Where's
it's
he?
just
Minnesota?
Like, yeah.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
Just like shedding the cap because that's going to be a big issue once again.
Right.
What I'm curious, and I'm looking it up here, but it's going to take a little bit. Like I'm curious as to Minnesota's position in terms of what they've got in cap room, because I just, man, I don't know as much as I would love that deal. I don't.
Well,
know.
I think that Dumba is probably similar in terms of like money right now.
Current cap space, Minnesota has just over 10 mil. Now projected cap space, it's 2.9.
Right.
Looks like Dumba is making 6 mil. So I mean, it's pretty in line. What's D'Angelo making? 5.6 or something like that.
I think it's 5 straight up.
Yeah.
5 straight.
think.
So extra $1 million, like big deal. It's off the
Right.
books at the end of the year, and I mean, not a bad idea, especially if you can get expiring contracts and still shed cap. Like, I'm not talking like an expiring contract for JVR. JVR is a true rental that you should be able to get some type of equity in return.
Can we talk about that for a second? Like, what do you think the realistic equity is
Third.
there? You think a third? I was saying I'm hoping a second.
I mean, I'm
I
hoping
think
a
a
second,
second.
but realistic. I mean,
Right.
if you put like the conditions on it,
Mhm.
right? It's like you play so many games, and maybe it's a second, but
How desperate are teams going to be, though? And that's going to be the big thing, because you're going to get the guys who lose out on the Patrick Kanes, the Timo
right, it's
Myers.
gonna be all the good people are gone.
Yeah. So how desperate is a
Kmart.
team going to be that they're going to want to shell out? Because it's going to end up being, and I use this term loosely, a quote unquote bidding war, if you will. Because you're going to have a handful of teams that are like, well, shit, we missed out on, Kane, all those guys.
Right.
Maybe we can, go bargain bin shopping. And Chuck, if he's smart, should do his best to drive up that price.
Well, yeah, of course, but I just feel like what are his point totals this year? I couldn't even tell you what JVR's point totals are this year.
I don't
Like
know.
to me,
nothing
he's
special.
a depth piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you could probably get something comparable for less.
Mhm.
Where
Yeah.
I mean, I would a team. There's two places that I see it. I have no idea what their cap space is and stuff like that. But I'm looking at teams, one in the East, one in the West. You all right there, Derek? Did you just hear a ghost? What happened?
The kid loves to slam his door, and it drives me up a goddamn wall.
But one is Washington, who is like 1 point out of a playoff spot right now. I think they're up a couple games on some of the teams, but like they're right in the thick of it right now, and like that's a team that like still needs to make the playoffs given their roster.
right, for sure.
JVR's got
then you
9
have-
goals and 13 assists in 37 games.
Ugh.
Yeah, not.
But then there's also the familiarity with his brother and like,
Sure.
things like that. Like it might be something there. And I think, a prorated salary of his isn't going to gonna break the bank.
right.
But I assume we would still have to eat it eat a portion of it.
I'm
which
sure.
I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
But and then the other place, like, and this is totally wingnut, but like, wouldn't it be funny if we end up trading him to Seattle for something after Seattle like tried to put us to the books? But it's like Seattle's in there. I guarantee they have cap room.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but I guarantee they have some. You know, if they're legit, like, hey, how do we get to the playoffs? Like, let's try to bring in a veteran guy who, you know, has navigated this a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not a bad idea. They have veterans there, but you know, I don't know. I mean, what you could count
Well, and
Jaden
it's like,
Schwartz.
when's the last time JVR had a playoff run?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
when he was with
2010.
Toronto, it was
Yeah.
they were crap teams. Like, you know, he hasn't really been around for much playoff success. You know,
Yeah,
Right.
It's because we're talking about Toronto here, but you know,
I think you're getting. I'd put money on a third. Right. And it's like, if you getting something less than that, I almost would just to like prove a point, I'd be like, no, you know what? Screw it. Let's just hold on to him, because
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
rather Chuck take a stance than be like, oh, I guess we're going to go for a 6th round pick and Hartman.
Right.
and maybe I'm alone here too, but like, I feel like it's kind of I don't want to say it's a win-win, but like, even if we don't trade him, the whole purpose of trading him is to get his cap hit off the books. What are we going to use that cap for now? Like,
Nothing.
Exactly. So we wait till the offseason contract expires. We just don't get, you know, the 2nd or a 3rd round pick. And
Well, I
in
think
that
that's
stance,
the
it's like, who
goal
cares?
of trying to trade him, is to recoup an asset that, you know, like a valuable
Sure.
asset, like a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. I think we could
2nd round,
use,
absolutely.
you know,
Right.
I even think like if we could somehow take that 3rd round pick and attach it to something else, you
Mhm.
know,
It gives you cap equity, which like, or it gives you trade equity, which like,
right.
you know, I think goes above the common fans IQ for the most part of not,
Right.
it's like, oh, you only got this for this guy, but it's like, okay, but that package with this is going to become a more valuable asset, you freaking bonehead.
Right.
And so like the issue is like, I haven't seen Chuck be able to like thread that needle yet either. You know, I feel like the trade, you know, the bigger trade that he made was Atkinson for Voracek, and that was straight up. It's like, let's just keep this one easy. Let's just go straight up.
Right.
I'm trying to think of trades where he had the asset that someone else was looking for, right? So like Claude Giroux, obviously,
Right.
Yeah.
Wayne Simmons.
Even then,
that
though, I
Chuck,
mean, we
though?
waited way too
That was
long to
Chuck.
trade Simmons.
Yeah, but that was right at the beginning of Chuck, though. Like he
Yeah.
kind of inherited that.
The word was Tolvanen. I think everybody wanted Tolvanen
yeah.
from
I mean,
Nashville.
In true Flyers fashion, we were like 1st round pick. You know,
Yeah.
we got a 4th and Ryan Hartman.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Ryan Hartman, I mean, he endeared himself to the fans right away, but like didn't do much. And then he went to Minnesota, was like a
murdered
point
guy
per
on
game
an
player.
on the ice his first game.
Oh, leveled the guy. Absolutely steamrolled him. But now, like, he was a point per game player for a while last year.
Right, but I
playing
think
with,
he's
what was it,
died off
Dallas.
again. That was
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, what was the Niskanen Gudas trade?
Oh,
No,
But-
we
yeah, but then
sign,
again-
we signed Niskanen. We didn't. We
no,
didn't
that
trade
was a
him.
trade.
It was a trade.
That was a trade. Yeah, we
Niskanen and
traded
Gudas.
Gudas and something.
Was there a pick? And did we retained some of Gudas's salary?
Probably.
But it ended up helping us, obviously, because they wanted to get rid of Niskanen. And
Right.
then we ended up with, honestly, the best partner Provorov's had to date for one season.
for 1 year.
Yeah.
One effing year. Hey, we were champs of the bubble, though.
But
I
it's
mean,
like,
you look at it, you know, if you put, you know, that trade, and then you have, the blockbuster trade, which may go down as the worst trade in like multi-team trade history in like
the
what ended up
Nashville.
happening, which is the Nolan Patrick,
At the time, everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!"
right, Ellis, and then who was the third part of that? There was like
Cody Glass,
well,
yeah,
no,
it's like
yeah, but then Philip Myers.
Phil Myers. That's right.
Phil
that's
Myers left. Yeah, Phil Myers went to Nashville. Nashville, I think, cut him, and then he went to like Tampa or something like that.
right, right.
And
And now
now,
he's playing in the AHL, I think.
I think so.
So, like, I mean,
who's he
never,
with, though?
never has a trade been more
In
complex
Nashville.
and go so bust for everyone involved.
Right?
Mhm.
Like NHL minutes is under double digits
Right.
for all three of those players.
Oh, it's bad. And I mean, that's God. I still remember the day that trade happened. I was on the beach. I came back and I saw my phone, and I'm like, awesome.
Right.
Little did I know. But so I mean, is there anybody else to talk about trade wise?
What do you think a Braun or a Patrick Brown, like a 7th round pick?
Well, Braun got what, a 3rd last year?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
we
was
got
a
a
regular
third
in the
us that
line.
again.
But he was a regular in the lineup last
he
year.
was playing top pairing minutes too.
Wow. I did see him playing with Provorov today, and I was like, oh, no way.
Blast from the
Make it
past.
stop. Make it stop. Turn it off.
Braun's just
PTSD.
like, God damn, I just want to be on a beach sipping Mai Tais. You guys
I
can
kind
throw
of
me on a
hope.
top pairing.
I kind of hope that we trade him back to the Rangers.
Oh,
Just
God.
because, like,
So we got 2-year
But
picks
Braun
for
will
this
go-
guy.
But I think Braun would go for what, a 4th or a 5th at this point.
I'd
say
think
5th.
that. Yeah,
I'd say a
if
5th.
we got a 5th, I'd be happy.
Dude, it's rare that we end up or anybody ends up trading somebody for like a 7th round pick because that's just like, who cares? It's a 7th round pick.
I just feel like at that point you're just trying, like, please, I need the media to think I did something.
Right.
You know,
right.
like what I just don't know, like what kind of market is for, Justin Braun or especially Patrick Brown, like
Mhm.
for real, like
Yeah, like who? I don't know. Maybe we're jaded because like we are flushed with 4th line centers. Like,
Right.
if
We're flush a 4th line
the pantry is full on the 4th line, but we just don't have anything else. Like there could be teams out there. Like I think back to like, the 2004 playoff run where like we were so depleted by that Tampa Bay season. Like we had Sammy Kapanen playing defense. Like, I mean, like legitimately. And so it's like there's sometimes where teams just are in conditions where like, dude, we don't have anyone who can play 4th line, like legit 4th line center penalty kill minutes right now. Like we have all finesse guys or something like that. And so there could be somebody out there.
Yeah, I just feel like most contenders' 4th line would be our top line. So
It could be. It absolutely could be.
just we could really use a 16th forward.
So take what we were just saying about Braun and apply that to Sealer. Knowing what Sealer is, what's a realistic return for him?
Keep
like,
him.
I'm
gonna trade
with
him.
you. I'm
Keep
with
him.
you too.
But theoretically, because he
Okay.
has term,
Sure.
I would say a 3rd, maybe a 2nd in 24 or something like that.
Boy.
Yo, you got your video game trades on easy, don't you, man? Holy
What? You don't think we could get?
a 2nd round pick for freaking Nick Sealer? No, I don't.
You don't think so? Okay,
Mm-mm.
but keep in mind he's not a rental.
Right.
He has term on there,
Yeah.
so there's going to be more value out of that. So that's why I'm going that direction versus saying like, oh, if he was ending this year, I'd be like, yeah, like a 4th. But because he has
Sure.
term, all of a sudden you have something there that needs to be recouped as well.
But think about the teams that would trade for him. You're talking about the contenders of the league. Your
Right.
Tampa
He
Bays,
is
your
the
Vegas.
7th defenseman
Exactly.
on a
Are you going to
contender.
shell out a 2nd or 3rd round pick for a 7th defense? That guy's on the market right now. You could pick up a 7th defenseman just off the streets. Yeah.
No, the Flyers have all of them.
You could get Keith Yandel back in the game for Christ's sake.
Oh, don't do that. I think if somebody offered them a 4th round pick, I feel like you got to capitalize, because I think like relatively to his role, like that's a pretty high price. I would still argue that he's more valuable on the Flyers team
Agreed.
Yep.
than a 4th
absolutely.
round pick, but I feel like that's probably the highest you're going to get for him.
And especially if you have Braun out the door, most likely. Like he's the 3rd pairing, or he's the 3rd line defenseman that like you can basically plop anybody with them and they'll be okay.
And it
They're not gonna
provides you some
thrive, they'll be okay.
certainty for next year too.
You think it's
Yeah.
safe to say one or the other, though? Like either Braun or Sealer, one of them is going to be traded.
No, I think definitely Braun regardless. Like I think that, I mean, unless there's no market for him, but I feel like it's either going to be Braun and not Sealer or Braun and Sealer.
Yeah, a veteran right-handed shot defenseman that has plenty of playoff experience. Like Braun's got a market. There's a market out there for a guy like Braun.
I still don't think it's very high, but
no, I'm not saying it's a high.
I could see him
market,
going, Yeah, I can see him going to like Carolina as their seventh defenseman or something like that. Because like
they're going to bullish.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Back to the whole argument or the whole discussion as a whole right now. This is going to be an underwhelming trade deadline for me.
But that's the problem with this freaking team. It's like even when even when we're supposed to be effing sellers, we can't be good sellers. It's like, oh, this is the year we're gonna sell. Oh, but real quick, let me lock up our best trade bait before the season starts.
And let's bench a boneheaded move. God,
I mean, and now like. I wonder what Stanheim's market would be like. Let's take away the extension for a second. Let's have a little fun. Take away the extension, right? Mm-hmm. Travis Stanheim is playing the way. No, but what I'm saying is like is playing the way he's playing.
Oh, we'd be.
What would teams give up for him? A third, hoping he turns it around. 7th rounder. Maybe. Are you hearing ghosts now, Casey?
No, I like the Alexa's back here, and it just like a little boop boop. What the hell's going on back here?
Hey Alexa, play "End of the World as We Know It."
That'd be fine,
right? No, I don't know, man. I feel like we've discussed this Sanheim extension and how bad it was more times than Sanheim has points this year.
Because it pretty much ties the knot of the freaking cherry sundae that is Chuck Fletcher's a moron.
It's just the cherry on top of the Chuck Fletcher sucks sundae.
Write that down.
That's exactly what I'm doing. The Chuck Fletcher
sucks sundae.
Sucks.
Oh God.
Sunday.
I mean,
there you go.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Like part of me is always like a little like weary of like, are we so close to it? Do we think that Sanheim sucks because we dissect his whole game, or like are other people like, oh, he's actually like, are other teams like psyched about him? You know what I'm saying?
I think other teams are psyched about him, and I think we do overanalyze it, and I think it's mainly people like us who, again, I'm not toot my own horn here, but like I think we're a little smarter than the average fan.
Smarter than the average fan.
I'm not sure that's saying much.
But we also have kind of a hatred towards that analytical community that are going to sit there and tell us that he's, God's gift to defensemen.
Yeah. So Risto sits there stroking his beard.
They were. I heard somebody say it, but like it's that animosity paired with the fact that yes, we absolutely overanalyze him. That I think we come to that conclusion where it's like, guy's just not that good this year. Not to say he's a bad defenseman, but he's not having a good season right now.
Right. No. I mean, like he kind of falls into, that TK category that we've had for the past 2 years where it was like teams could still view him as all right, we just got to get him out of there and like we could turn this around kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think TK is still in that category, but that's something we've constantly been talking about with him. But now Travis Sanheim's locked up for 100 years. So it doesn't really matter.
Plenty of term on that contract. Maybe that'll get us 2 firsts.
Do you think freaking Chuck Fletcher like read an article about him being on the hot seat, got hammered, and was just like, you know what, guys, you think you're gonna get rid of me? Hey, 8 years, let's go. What do you want? Name your price. Done. Fire me now.
Right. He gets the contract. It's like smells like bourbon.
Right. Drop everything. I got a trade to do.
It's on a napkin.
He slides it across the conference table. Like, Chuck, that's your phone number. Like,
he slides it across to the agent, and it's like a Mad Lib thing. It's like, I will give you X and in turn and X years. Like, do you accept it? It's like a handwritten box, yes or no.
Like the notes you pass about in high school. Do you like me?
Oh, man. What
Jesus.
about what are you guys feeling about the goalie situation?
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I like what Urson's doing, and
Oh.
I'm fine with Sandstrom sucking.
Eighth
Like-
goalie ever in the NHL to start out his career 6-0.
I don't.
And those
see
are just decisions. Like he
what are
had
we gonna
3
do with
games.
Sandstrom? What are we gonna do with the guy?
Who
though?
cares? Bye. See
Put
ya.
him, well, I mean, nobody's
Put him on
claiming him
waivers.
at this point.
Right.
I don't. That confuses me because that to me is the reason why he's still in the
Right.
NHL.
Right.
The fear that he could get claimed off of waivers. Are they working out a deal for the trade deadline? Maybe to try to get something so they don't have to put him on waivers and
Or
lose him
maybe
for
there
nothing.
just isn't enough goalies in Lehigh Valley where it's like they're worried that if they got rid of Sandstrom, like say he got claimed, then there was another injury, and then Urson had to go back down, and then what do they do? Kind of thing, you
They
know.
got
I think it's-
Grosnick down there. He's manning the crease in the AHL. Let him
Yeah,
do
but
his thing
wasn't
there.
he hurt?
He was, but he's back now.
Oh,
He started the other night, and I mean, everybody's like, he was the best goalie in the AHL last year.
Gross
Perfect.
nose.
Let him stay there.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think I don't think there's any reason why Sandstrom should play in another Flyers game for the rest of the year. But what happens after the trade deadline? Does the waiver wire get frozen as well? Like,
I
can
don't
we
think
just send him
so.
down after the trade deadline?
I don't know.
Not that it matters, because I think we'll have the cap anyway. Who cares? But
I think
I
we
don't-
can send him down at any point in time, honestly.
well, yeah, but he's saying
without
like,
without having
waivers.
clear
Oh, yeah.
waivers.
I think he still has to clear
Yeah, I
waivers
think
no matter
that's
what.
yeah.
And try to sneak him down like, gotcha, suckers.
But I like, what's the loss? Like, even if somebody claims him, like, in truth, like, I mean, at this point, he's had a pretty awful season.
Mhm.
I mean, it's been limited, but he's had an awful season in the NHL. The coach has pretty much just been like, he's not been good enough.
Right.
You know,
And the coach also clearly loves Urson too.
yeah,
As he
And
should.
understandably so.
Yeah. Is the and I hate bringing this back up, but I think that this somehow has to tie in with the Fedotov situation. Like clearly, I don't think it was in the cards for Sandstrom to be
do you
where
think they're
he's
worried
at.
about Sandstrom getting shipped to Siberia or Urson?
Could be.
And that's like they just want to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's what the Lehigh Valley is to the U.S. That's our Siberia.
They're like they've got constant GPS monitors on him to make sure no one's sneaking in the room in the middle of the night taking him away. But no, I mean, because think about it and how often we discussed it and what the idea was that Fedotov would likely be that 1B,
Right.
given, maybe a little bit of time in Lehigh Valley. Sandstrom could buy us some time, but they probably wanted to keep Sandstrom in the AHL, which now it's very apparent that was the move.
Yeah.
But now, again, with Fedotov's situation happening, like they had to kind of adjust on the fly and do what they did. And, thank God Urson's panning out for this point, at this point in time, at least.
Good for him too. Like
Right.
way to like,
That-
way to not get flapped by like, oh wait, I just like kicked ass for my first 5 games. Now I'm getting sent down. Like, what the
Right.
heck?
Right. That's
and now he
that's
came back and played
mentality.
well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic mentality for a goalie.
Well,
Not to
and
mention
you know
that
when he's
glove
sent
save
down-
today against Calgary in the second.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
my
not-
God.
That was good.
Tortorella's like when he sent him down, he's like, just so you know, I pushed hard to get that other sand trap down to Lehigh Valley, but we're gonna send you down. But don't you worry, I'm sabotaging his equipment. You'll be up here soon.
Sandstrom, more like sand dumb. There's another episode title. But that's I mean, it's a decent position to be in. I think it's great that we have a guy like Urson who's emerging right now as a pretty quality backup at this point in time. And given the fact that you're not going to get, again, I talked about it with TK, like the consistency. Hart looks like he's lights out at points in time. He had a 4-game stretch before these last 2 against Seattle and Vancouver where he was playing out of his mind. But then he has those.
And then
2
we let up
games.
12 goals in 2 games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he couldn't have stopped any of those. Remember?
Yeah.
I'll give him a pass on some of them. I'll be honest, but the defense did not do him any favors.
But we S on this guy's D for stopping the pucks he shouldn't all the time.
Would you elaborate on what S and D?
I'm not doing it. But the thing is, it's nice. It's like the goalie situation isn't a question mark going into next year. I mean, until one of them gets some sort of degenerative thing that we like.
Right.
It's like
ends up getting
What are the odds on
long
that?
COVID. Yeah.
I will take that bet.
right. Urson's got a tail. I don't know what the hell just happened, but
Gotta
it's
have
out
it
for
removed.
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
Tail
Very,
removal
very
surgery.
delicate procedure.
Week to week, middle body
Right.
injury.
Right. Man, oh man.
I heard too that what's his name? Couturier. What's his name? Who's that guy that used to play for Couturier?
Oh, that guy? He's
Well, he was with boots.
No, I heard he had another setback, man. I don't think.
Shocker.
I don't think we're
man.
seeing him this year.
In other news, the sky is blue.
Yeah. our luck is just amazing.
I'm really starting to think that like the Flyers should just buy a retirement home, like one of those old school ones with like a front porch and rocking chairs. And it's just like Ellis, Couturier, Atkinson. They're there knitting or reading each other books.
They need a farm. Put them all out to pasture. Just Old Yeller.
I mean, Jesus, wasn't Pronger still under contract like 2 years ago?
We traded that contract.
Yeah, we traded that
to
contract.
Arizona.
Yeah.
What?
Like that's freaking nuts.
Wasn't that with Nick Grossman's contract too, or we traded Grossman to Arizona?
You know there's a problem with the hard cap when you essentially are trading dead bodies to other teams.
Oh,
just anyway.
Yeah. No, anyways. So guys, I'm drawing a blank here. I feel like we covered a good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. What's up next? We play Edmonton tomorrow.
Yep.
We've
got a
We're gonna
game.
get torched.
It's the game Thursday. It's a home game.
New Jersey, I think.
Is it Jersey? Oh boy.
No, it might be. Is it? Hold on.
Is it Montreal?
Must be a way to sort this out.
Montreal.
There's got to be a way.
Montreal on Friday.
Friday, that's right. Yep.
And then Jersey Saturday.
Jersey Saturday.
That is right.
And then we've got another 9 freaking days off until we play the Rangers.
Wednesday, then Sunday.
What is with the
then
beginning of the
Tuesday?
schedule? It's like it's like 3 games in 2 nights.
Good Lord.
And now it's like a freaking football schedule.
It's so what? Like, and Sunday they've got a 6:00 start on the 5th of March against the Red Wings. They've got a 9:00 start Tuesday against Edmonton, 3:30 against the Pens on the 11th. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Just some interesting start times. 5:00, a 6:30. Nice 1:00 game on a Saturday against Detroit. That'll be a nice one that the kid goes down for his nap. I can settle in.
That's we may be taking the boys to that one because that's the only matinee game. Home game.
I was actually thinking about taking the fam too.
I would like to go to a game. I haven't been to a game. I was there last year, I think, for the Rangers game, and half the damn Wells Fargo Center was a bunch of Rangers fans.
I completely forgot we went to the game. Casey, somebody was talking to me about hockey games. So I was like, dude, I haven't been to a hockey game in years. My wife looked at me and was like,
You just
asshole,
went to
I
one.
got you tickets. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Nothing like a 1-0 overtime.
Overtime.
Oh,
Oh
There's a
boy.
reason why I don't go to hockey games.
brutal.
Now, would you
I'll say-
rather see that though, or would you rather see like a 7-5, just all out
7 to 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
seven
defense
without
shits the bed?
like there's nothing worse than losing a 1-0 game. Like you've had nothing to cheer about for 60 minutes. Like
There was
That's true.
truly nothing to cheer about during that
it was
game.
brutal.
But a 1-0 win in overtime, does that overtime goal make up for the no goals during all 60 minutes of regulation?
Seeing that me and Casey were standing like right by the exit in front
Yeah,
of
we
the
were like,
TV.
we're gonna lose this.
We were like, okay, go.
Get out, go.
I'll say I feel like totally like disconnected from the Flyers right now. Like partially because I was on vacation. There were like matinee games. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to watch these things. But then it's a West Coast trip. Like today was the first time I think I've like watched them in 2 weeks or so. I tried staying up for the game the other night, and I was like, this is terrible hockey.
I stayed up for those games, but like, man, by the start of the third, I'm just
I don't even try.
yeah. I'm with you though. Like
7:30
it's so tough.
start. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
I could do those. Like my thing is like, I'm putting the kid to bed, like my wife and I'm just like, by the time I settle in, take the dog out, dishes, whatever the hell it is, put dinner away, I'm like catching the middle of the second. And I'm like, Christ, man. Like
Well, by that point, the way things have been,
it's just useless,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But regardless, good discussion. I like that. That was fun.
I
think we're done.
Yeah, let's put the cherry on top of the Pod Street Bullies Sunday.
I gotta tell you though, I got a song for Hoagie. I ain't missing you at all since you've been gone.
Just because you did that, we're reading a dad joke.
Oh, come on!
You see what you've done? This is what you've done.
No.
I really want to buy one of those supermarket checkout dividers, but the lady behind the till keeps putting it back. That one sucked.
That was awful. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
What's a till?
I don't even know what a till is.
It's right in the category with a schneid.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
What are we talking about tonight?
What do you call it when Batman skips church? Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
All right, that's not good.
Hoagie, you've been replaced. I'm doing dad jokes from here on out.
I was gonna go Robin of Religion.
Mm.
Right, because Batman and Robin.
You could have wrote the book too.
You could have. I mean, Matt Casey, is that you? All right. So, Matt Casey, let them know where they're going to find you.
Yeah, I don't know. Pod Street Casey. I don't know if it's spelled out or not anymore. I forgot.
You spell that?
Just don't know. Just don't know.
Is that with a C or with a K?
With the C most times.
All right, John Good.
You can find this podcast on all your various podcast listening receptacles, and you'll love it.
Wonderful. You can find me on Twitter, Pod Street Bob. John's on Twitter, Pod Street Gove. All of us on Twitter at Pod ST Bullies. Check out Flyers High and Wide, our affiliates there on Twitter at Flyers HW. 5 Minute Major Podcast on Twitter at 5 Min Major Pod, and the Hockey Focus on Twitter at the Hockey Focus.
Slides off the tongue.
Just rolls right off the tongue. All right. And just like that, we're going to roll on out of here. Enjoy the rest of the week of hockey, folks, and we'll see you next week.
Bye now.